Leo, beloved child of divine fire, something enormous is unfolding behind the veil and you must remain completely silent. On August 23rd, the universe is orchestrating a spiritual breakthrough that is not meant to be spoken, only witnessed. This is not a day for explanations, arguments, or defending your truth. It's a day of sacred silence, where your stillness becomes your most powerful protection and your silence your loudest prayer. You've sensed it, haven't you? That heavy, unspoken energy hanging in the air. A pull to withdraw. To protect your heart. To say less, and listen more. That isn't paranoia, Leo. It's divine intuition. A sacred alarm from the spirit that something is shifting beneath the surface, something so massive that even the people closest to you might not be ready to understand it. Chosen ones know this feeling well. You were never called to blend in. You were called to break generational noise. And right now, your silence is not avoidance seat strategy. It's spiritual obedience. God is moving mountains in the unseen realm. The blessing is being signed in heaven, but it hasn't reached earth yet. The moment you speak prematurely, you risk exposing what's still sacred. Maybe you've been tempted to open your heart to someone you love, to explain your pain, your purpose, or your progress. But deep down, your spirit knows it won't be received with honor. Not today. Not yet. The people closest to you may be the most spiritually blind to your evolution. And that's okay. God didn't ask you to prove your worth to anyone. He asked you to trust Him, especially when it's silent. The truth is, Saturday is not an ordinary day. It is a spiritual checkpoint. You're standing at a divine threshold where one word, just one wrong conversation could delay your destiny. This silence is your shield. It is how you allow divine justice to work without interference. Leo, your journey has not been in vain. And even if they don't believe you, even if they speak against what they cannot see, you are still rising. You are still protected. And what God is doing in this silence will soon speak louder than any explanation you could ever offer. He is crafting a testimony out of your restraint. So today, ask yourself, who deserves to hear your next word? Who has truly earned the right to access your soul? Or are they simply curious about your light without any intention to protect it? Let this be your confirmation. You are not crazy for being quiet. You are aligned. And if this message resonates with you, I want you to comment below with the words, "I choose silence because I trust God." That declaration is your anchor today. Stay grounded. Stay hidden. The breakthrough is almost here. There are moments in life when silence becomes sacred, not because we are avoiding others, but because something sacred is unfolding within us. On August 23rd, Leo, your silence is not a retreat, but a shield. It's an act of divine protection. In the celestial chart, this day holds a powerful alignment that asks you to guard what is blossoming inside you, an idea, a vision, a transformation. Like the hidden phases of the moon, not every part of your growth is meant to be witnessed or explained. Just like Noah, who built the ark without needing applause, praise, or even understanding, you are being called to build something quietly. In fact, your greatest strength right now is not your roar but your stillness. You may feel an urge to explain yourself to someone close, someone who might not understand the new direction your soul is taking. But ask yourself this, am I seeking their approval more than I am trusting my own intuition? Because what's being birthed inside of you doesn't need validation. It needs space. And silence is how you make room for miracles. There's a vibration in the cosmos that only whispers when the noise is gone. The planets are aligning in such a way that any exchange of words today might weaken your energetic field, expose your vulnerable progress, or open sacred ideas to misinterpretation. Not everyone is meant to hold your vision with the reverence it deserves. And that's okay. That's why this silence is not just wise, it's necessary. Instead of speaking, channel your emotions into journaling. Take a moment to sit in nature, close your eyes, and listen to the rhythm of your own breath. You are the guardian of something that is still forming, a dream that needs nurturing, not scrutiny. Imagine yourself as a glowing cocoon, warm and radiant, where the future version of you is slowly emerging. Speak too soon, and the wings may not form. Remain still, and you'll witness a metamorphosis. Remember, when you withhold words, you're not holding back love. You're simply giving it the quietest, most fertile place to grow. Today, silence is your spiritual sanctuary. It's the invisible armor you wear while God rearranges the details of your destiny behind the scenes. So don't mistake stillness for stagnation. You are not being left out. You are being lifted up discreetly, carefully, miraculously. And if your heart aches from not being understood, let that ache become the ink in your pen. Write what cannot be spoken. Let your inner world witness you. That's where the true recognition lies, not out there in others, but in here, with you. Trust that the right words, the right people, and the right timing will come after the transformation is complete. For now, Leo, honor your silence. It's not empty. It's divine. When everything around you goes quiet, Leo, it's not because you've been forgotten, it's because the universe is clearing the noise so you can hear what truly matters. Silence isn't absence. It's gestation. Just like a seed deep beneath the soil, unseen yet full of promise, your energy is preparing to break through the surface. And just like the chrysalis that wraps around the caterpillar, silence holds your soul in sacred restructuring. August 23rd is not avoided, is the cocoon. It's the inhale before the roar. On this day, Leo, resist the urge to explain, to justify, or even to act. Something is happening far beyond words. This silence is not emptiness, it is the divine's workshop. In astrology, when the sun, your ruling planet, appears to dim behind the clouds of confusion or stagnation, it's only gathering its fire for a stronger dawn. Energy doesn't disappear, it concentrates. Think of a river flowing underground, calm on the surface, but beneath it, currents are shaping new pathways. Think of an ember beneath ash, quiet, still, but with enough breath, it will reignite into a blaze. That's you right now. This sacred pause is not punishment. It is preparation. You are being rewired for something monumental. Many times in the practice of energy healing, I've seen the most profound transformations happen not during the loud breakthroughs, but in the still, private moments when a soul finally surrenders and listens. There is wisdom in the silence. That's why, on August 23rd, I invite you to do something rare and powerful. Don't pray, don't ask, don't speak. Just be. Sit in stillness for 10 minutes in the early morning. Let your breath be your only companion. Wear white with golden tones if you can, to reflect the purity of your spirit and the golden seed of rebirth within you. You are not manifesting with effort, you are aligning through presence. The law of attraction teaches us that what we become is what we receive. So if you become quiet power, you receive divine orchestration. If you become inner peace, you invite outer miracles. Trust this process. God and the universe are speaking, just not in words. They are shifting timelines on your behalf. They are writing new contracts behind the curtain. You may not hear it, but it's happening. And Leo, you are the center of it all. Your silence is your signature. It tells the world, I don't chase. I align. So the next time you doubt your impact because you've gone quiet, remember this: oceans make more impact than thunder, and they do so in silence. And the greatest stories of destiny were never screamed, they were whispered between soul and source. Let this stillness be your sacred rebellion. Let it be your way of showing the universe, I trust you even when I don't hear you. Leo, your power isn't in your roar on August 23rd. It's in your ability to not need to roar, because deep down, you already know that something bigger than you is moving. Something holy. Something unstoppable. And it begins in silence. Sometimes, the deepest shifts happen in silence. And when they do, those around you, especially the ones closest to your heart, may not see the magnitude of what's unfolding. They may interpret your stillness as withdrawal, your distance as detachment, or your silence as confusion. But what they're really witnessing is your soul quietly rearranging itself into a new alignment, one that no longer fits within the walls of normal. And when you start growing beyond the structures that once held you, you will naturally appear unrecognizable to those who still remain within them. There's an ancient cosmic truth echoed in the words, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. When your energy begins to transform, your relationships must either stretch to evolve with you or break. This is not a betrayal, it is a birth. You're not leaving them behind out of pride or pain, but because your spirit is being called into a sacred initiation that only you can walk through. The silence you're carrying right now is not emptiness. It's sacred protection. It's divine gestation. You're incubating a reality that others cannot yet perceive. Think of it like this: a caterpillar doesn't explain its chrysalis to the other caterpillars. It simply disappears for a while, and then emerges with wings. You are in that invisible in-between space, the sacred cocoon of soul expansion. And not everyone is meant to understand what's happening there. Some will doubt you. Some will distance themselves. Some will try to pull you back into the old rhythm because it's the only one they know. But what if their confusion is actually confirmation that you're evolving? Don't rush to explain. Don't feel the need to defend your peace. Those who are meant to understand will when they begin to feel the glow of your light brushing against their darkness. Your transformation isn't just for you, it's also a silent permission slip for others to find their own awakening. This is your moment of sacred contraction before a powerful expansion. And like any divine pregnancy, no one sees the full miracle growing inside of you except the one who planted it. The discomfort of not being understood right now is part of your initiation into spiritual maturity. It's a test of your faith in the unseen. It's a reminder that your destiny is not dependent on human approval, but on divine orchestration. Let your silence be your sanctuary. Let your stillness be your strength. And trust that when the time is right, those who were confused by your quiet will be moved by your clarity. You are not alone in this process. You are not crazy, distant, or wrong. You are sacredly unavailable to everything that no longer serves your future. And that, dear one, is not something to apologize for but something to honor with your whole being. Keep going. Keep listening. Keep protecting the divine mystery inside you. It's not time to speak yet because what's forming within you is far too powerful to be diluted by explanation. Let it speak through your transformation instead. There is a sacred stillness before a spiritual eruption. On August 23rd, when the sun completes its majestic journey through Leo and prepares to hand the torch to Virgo, the energy does not scream, it whispers. And in that whisper lies divine orchestration. The Leo energy, often known for its boldness and roaring courage, now finds itself walking into a sacred hush. This is not a retreat, it is a divine pause. Like a heartbeat before a leap, like the silence before thunder splits the sky. Imagine Daniel, sitting quietly in the lion's den. Not fighting. Not fleeing. Just trusting. His power was not in resistance but in radiating faith in the invisible. Or think of Job, surrounded by loss, stripped of everything, yet he did not scream his anger to the heavens. He fell into the depth of stillness, and in that space, something greater was refined within him. And what about Joseph? Betrayed, cast into a pit by those he loved. He did not climb his way out through noise or blame. He waited. He dreamed. He held vision in silence. And then, in a divine instant, he was lifted not just out of the pit but into rulership. These are not stories of punishment. They are patterns. Blueprints of divine silence before divine promotion. Lazarus, dead for days, surrounded by grief, motionless. And then resurrection. That pause was not absence. It was alignment. And in your own life, this very moment may mirror the vibration of such sacred stillness. Not because you are forgotten, but because you are being positioned. From a cosmic lens, August 23rd marks the end of Leo's solar fire and the opening gate to Virgo's sacred order. The lion's roar fades into the gentle precision of the healer. This transition is subtle but powerful. It signals a shift from external performance to internal preparation. From visibility to divine recalibration. It is during this time that many Leo souls may feel a sense of emotional disorientation, not because something is wrong but because something invisible is being rewritten within you. The silence is not empty, it is loaded with destiny. Astrologically, this threshold is a call to lean into spiritual trust. When the sun, your ruling guide, is dimming its fire in Leo and preparing to shine through the earthy wisdom of Virgo, the universe invites you to go inward. The cosmos itself shifts from radiance to refinement. This is a sacred space of the becoming, where the chosen ones are not told what is next but are shaped for it through silence. It is not the time to announce. It is the time to anchor. You see, when God or the universe is about to do something enormous in your life, He often moves in silence. No updates. No signs. Just stillness that tests your senses but prepares your soul. The world may think you're inactive, but the heavens know you're incubating purpose. The storm isn't outside. It's the inner shift of an old identity falling away and a greater one being born. Like Joseph, you are not forgotten in the pit. Like Job, you are not cursed in the trial. You are in the fire where only the gold remains. You are not late. You are right on divine time. And maybe that's the truth someone needed to hear right now, not to rush, not to explain, not to seek validation, but to understand that silence is not absence. It's preparation. It's an anointed cocoon. And if you stay still long enough to hear it, there is something extraordinary waiting to rise in you. Just like the biblical echoes of those who stayed quiet before their breakthrough, your silence is sacred. Your silence is strategy. Your silence is strength. When silence becomes your loudest prayer, something sacred is unfolding. In this moment, Leo, the stars are not asking you to act but to surrender. You've been trained by life to believe that breakthrough comes only through effort, noise, and presence. But now, the cosmic message is far more mysterious. Do nothing. Say nothing. Just be. Because in your silence, the divine orchestration is reaching its crescendo. Your current stillness is not pacified, is holy alignment. The universe is moving mountains in the unseen. You are not being ignored, you are being whispered to in a language the world can't hear. Just as the sun doesn't announce its rising, and the stars don't scream their beauty, your miracle doesn't need a trumpet. It needs your trust. In this sacred silence, your energy speaks louder than your words. The vibration of your hope, your intention, your readiness, these are frequencies that echo into the universe. You are not abandoned in this quiet space, you are being held. And this quiet holding is the incubation of something life-altering. Your only task now is to honor the void, not fear it. Breathe into it. Bless it. Trust it. Because the void is not empty, it is sacred preparation. You are being initiated into a new chapter where your worth isn't measured by how much you do, but by how deeply you believe. And belief requires a space to bloom, an inner temple untouched by chaos. This is why you've been called into stillness. This is why nothing seems to move on the surface. Beneath that still surface, divine tectonics are shifting. Foundations are being laid for a future you can't even imagine right now. And when it finally arrives, it will be effortless. It will fit like destiny because it is. To ground this moment, write down 3 things you are ready to surrender, not because you're giving up, but because you're giving over. Hand them to the universe. Whisper them to your higher self. And as you inhale deeply, say within your heart, I am ready to be silent so that God can speak. Let this affirmation become your spiritual compass. Let it remind you that miracles often enter through the back door of stillness. And if this message resonates deeply with your spirit, leave a sacred comment below. I keep silent to enter the miracle. That simple sentence becomes your spiritual signature, your declaration to the universe that you trust its timing, its ways, and its quiet wonders. Remember, this silence is not the end. It's the opening scene of the greatest beginning of your life. The curtain is lifting soon, Leo. And when it does, the whole cosmos will be applauding your faith. Keep breathing. Keep trusting. And above all, stay silent, because the divine is speaking for you now. Leo, if you've made it here to the end, then you already feel it, didn't you? That something holy is moving through your life. And it doesn't come with thunder, fanfare, or noise. It comes in stillness. In silence. In the moments when your soul is quiet enough to feel what words can't say. On this powerful Saturday, August 23rd, the message is clear: don't say a word. Not out of fear but because heaven is at work. And God does his biggest miracles behind closed doors, where no one is watching. When you are quiet, he speaks the loudest. When you stop explaining yourself, the truth will rise on its own. This is not the time to convince others of who you are. This is the time to become who you were always meant to be. You don't need to respond to the critics. You don't need their validation to step into your destiny. You are not here to be understood, you are here to be divinely aligned. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to stay silent while God rewrites your story. So let me ask you, what if your silence is the doorway to your next breakthrough? What if keeping quiet isn't weakness, but spiritual warfare? Can you trust that what's unfolding in the unseen will soon be undeniable in the physical? Because when it's time, no force on earth can stop the blessing that's already been signed in heaven. You are the quiet storm, the whispered prayer, the stillness that carries divine fire. And this Saturday is not just another day, it is a sacred pause before the divine eruption. Sit with it. Honor it. And above all, don't rush it. Your job is not to fix or foresee, it's to feel and follow the signs. Thank you for watching this message on eternal mindfulness. If you feel seen, heard, or uplifted in any way, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so we can walk this journey of transformation together. And in the comments, tell me, what is God doing in silence in your life? Your story might just unlock healing for someone else.